Most people think they know Portugal. They arrive in Lisbon, walk through a few streets, ride the famous yellow tram, take photos at sunset, maybe taste a pastel de nata. Then they move north to Porto, sip a glass of wine, watch the river for a while, and then they leave. And just like that, they believe they've seen Portugal. But the truth is, they've barely begun. Because beyond the cities, beyond the travel guides, beyond the places everyone talks about, there is another Portugal. A quieter one, a slower one, a place where fairy tale palaces rise gently through morning mist, where vineyards stretch endlessly across golden hills like brushstrokes on a canvas, where cliffs stand tall against the endless force of the Atlantic Ocean, and where small towns still carry the rhythm of centuries past. This isn't the Portugal most people visit. This is the Portugal that stays with you. And today, we go beyond the obvious to discover a side of Portugal you've never truly seen. Portugal sits quietly at the edge of Europe, facing the Atlantic, looking outward. For centuries, that horizon meant possibility, exploration, discovery. It was from these shores that ships once set sail into the unknown, crossing oceans, connecting continents, and shaping history. But today, Portugal feels different. Not restless, not hurried, but grounded, present, calm. It's a country where movement exists, but so does stillness, where time passes but doesn't rush. And that balance is what makes it special, because within this relatively small country, there is an incredible range of landscapes. In just a few hours, everything changes. The coastline shifts from long sandy beaches to rugged cliffs carved by wind and waves. The land rises into cool, forested hills, then opens into wide valleys filled with vineyards. Modern cities slowly give way to quiet villages where traditions are not preserved for visitors, but lived daily. And then there's the culture. Layered, subtle, deep. You see it in the architecture, where Moorish influences meet European design. You hear it in the music, melancholic, expressive, deeply human. You taste it in the food, simple ingredients transformed with care and history. But to truly understand Portugal, you have to go beyond the obvious, beyond the crowded viewpoints, beyond the fast itineraries, because the real Portugal reveals itself slowly. In this journey, we explore 5 regions that capture that feeling, places where nature, history, and daily life still exist in quiet harmony. Sintra, where dreams meet reality. Just outside Lisbon, the transformation begins. The road curves gently upward. The air becomes cooler. The light softens, filtered through layers of trees. And gradually, the city disappears behind you. You enter Sintra. At first, it feels subtle. But then, something shifts. The forest grows denser. The atmosphere becomes quieter. And the mist begins to move. Slowly, drifting between the hills, wrapping around the landscape. From above, it looks almost unreal. Rolling green hills stretch endlessly. Clouds sit low against the treetops. And rising through it all are palaces. The first glimpse of Paina Palace feels almost surreal. Bright yellow walls, deep red towers, standing boldly above the forest, like something imagined rather than built. But as you approach, the details begin to reveal themselves. Built in the 19th century by King Ferdinand II, Paina Palace was never meant to follow traditional rules. It was a romantic vision, a place designed to inspire emotion, not symmetry. Gothic towers rise beside Moorish arches. Decorative details feel intricate, yet playful. Every angle reveals something new. Walking through its terraces, you notice how the palace interacts with the landscape. Windows frame distant hills. Balconies open toward the ocean horizon. Colors shift with the light. But Sintra is not just about what you see above ground. It's about what you discover. Stone paths wind deeper into the forest. Trees grow taller, older, thicker. The air feels cooler, damp, alive. Footsteps soften on moss-covered ground. And then, hidden within the trees, another world appears. Quinta de Regalera, a place of symbolism, mystery, and quiet intrigue. Its gardens feel like a maze. Paths twist and turn. Hidden tunnels connect different parts of the estate. And then, there is the initiation well, a spiral staircase descending deep into the earth. As you walk down, step by step, the light fades, the sounds above disappear, and the temperature drops. At the bottom, it feels still, almost sacred, a space that invites reflection. Back above, the forest feels different, more layered, more alive. And then the fog thickens, soft at first, then dense. Palaces fade in and out of view. Trees become silhouettes. Sounds become distant. Time slows. And in that moment, Sintra becomes something more than a destination. It becomes a feeling. And just when that feeling settles, something simple brings you back. The smell of fresh pastry. Warm pastéis de nata, just out of the oven. Flaky layers that crack gently. Creamy custard inside, slightly caramelized on top. A small, simple moment, but one that stays with you long after you leave. Douro Valley, a landscape shaped by time. Leaving the cool forests behind, the journey moves inland. The terrain begins to open. The air warms. The colors shift from deep greens to sunlit browns and golds. And then, the Douro Valley appears. From above, it feels almost impossible. Hills rise and fall endlessly, each one carved carefully into terraces. Lines of vineyards follow the natural curves of the land, creating patterns that feel both organic and deliberate. This is not a natural landscape. It's a human one, shaped slowly, patiently, over centuries. Stone by stone, vine by vine, the Douro River moves quietly through the valley below, its surface reflecting the sky, its path steady, unhurried. Life here follows the same rhythm. In the early morning, the valley is soft. Mist lingers near the water. Light spreads slowly across the hills. By midday, everything feels still, warm, bright. The air carries the scent of earth and vines. And then evening arrives, the most beautiful moment of all. The entire valley turns gold. Shadows stretch across the terraces. The river reflects the sky in warm tones. Everything slows. Everything softens. And in that moment, the valley feels alive. But not in a loud way. In a quiet, steady way. The wine here tells the same story. Made from native grapes like Touriga Nacional, bold and rich. Touriga Franca, soft and aromatic. Tinta Roriz, structured and balanced. Together, they create port wine. Deep, layered, full of character. Meals here reflect the land. Simple ingredients. Prepared slowly. Shared over time. Fresh bread, dipped in olive oil. Hearty dishes, cooked with care. And always the glass of wine nearby. Imagine sitting on a terrace, looking out across the valley. The sun slowly setting behind the hills. A glass of port in your hand. And nothing to rush toward. Just a moment. Fully experienced. Coimbra, the soul of old Portugal. Between the vineyards of the north and the dramatic southern coast lies a city that feels quieter, but deeper. Coimbra. At first glance, it may not seem as visually striking as Sintra or as expansive as the Douro Valley. But Coimbra reveals itself differently. Slowly, layer by layer. Once the capital of Portugal, this city carries a sense of history that isn't displayed, it's lived. The Mondego River flows gently through its center, reflecting soft light as it winds past the city's rising hillside. From above, Coimbra unfolds like a mosaic of red-tiled rooftops, narrow streets, and pale stone buildings stacked carefully on top of one another. The higher you go, the older it feels. At the very top stands one of Europe's most historic institutions, the University of Coimbra. Founded in the 13th century, it has shaped generations of thinkers, writers, and leaders. But beyond its history, it carries a certain atmosphere. The courtyards are wide and open, yet quiet. Footsteps echo against stone. Wind moves gently through archways, and time feels slower here. Inside the Joanina Library, the experience becomes almost surreal. Rows of dark wooden shelves rise toward the ceiling, filled with thousands of ancient books. The room glows in warm golden light, reflecting off intricate carvings and painted ceilings. There is a stillness here, a sense that knowledge has been quietly preserved for centuries. But Coimbra is not just about history and intellect. It's about emotion. As the day fades, the city transforms. The golden light softens. Shadows stretch across the streets. And slowly, sound begins to replace silence. Fado. In Coimbra, Fado feels different. It's not performed for crowds. It's experienced. Often sung by students dressed in traditional black cloaks, the music emerges from small courtyards, narrow streets, and intimate spaces. The voices are deep, melancholic, expressive. Each note carries something unspoken: longing, memory, reflection. Even without understanding the language, you feel the weight of it. The emotion travels beyond words. Down by the river, the mood shifts again. Couples walk slowly along the water. Lights begin to reflect across its surface. Cafes fill gently, not with noise, but with presence. People sit, talk, watch the evening pass. No one seems in a hurry. And that's what makes Coimbra different. It doesn't overwhelm you. It invites you to slow down, to listen, to feel, to stay a little longer than planned. The wild Algarve, where land meets ocean. From the quiet introspection of Coimbra, the journey moves south. And once again, Portugal transforms. The Algarve is not subtle. It doesn't reveal itself slowly. It arrives with presence, with power, with contrast. The land changes first. Green hills give way to sunlit terrain. The air becomes warmer, drier, and then the coastline appears. Suddenly, the earth drops away into towering cliffs. Golden, layered, rugged, these cliffs rise sharply above the Atlantic, shaped over thousands of years by relentless wind and crashing waves. From above, the view is dramatic. Deep blue water stretches endlessly to the horizon. White waves roll in rhythm, breaking against the base of the cliffs. And between these towering formations, hidden beaches begin to appear. Small, secluded, almost secret. Some can only be reached by narrow stairways carved into the rock. Others are visible only from above, revealed briefly between shifting shadows. Walking along the edge of the cliffs, the experience is constantly changing. Each step reveals a new angle, a new shape carved into the stone. Natural arches frame the ocean like windows. Sea caves open into darkness, carved slowly by centuries of motion. The sound of the ocean is constant. Waves rising, crashing, retreating, again and again. And yet, there are moments of stillness. Moments when the wind softens, when the light settles, when everything feels balanced. At sunrise, the Algarve feels untouched. The light is soft, golden. The ocean is calmer. Fishermen move quietly, preparing their boats. Engines hum softly as they head out into open water. By midday, the region comes alive. Markets fill with fresh seafood. Restaurants begin preparing the day's catch. And here, food is inseparable from the sea. Grilled fish, cooked simply over open flame. Clams sautéed in garlic, olive oil, and herbs. Prawns served fresh, with minimal seasoning. The goal is not complexity. It's clarity, to let the natural flavors speak. Meals are slow, often outdoors. Tables set near the ocean. The sound of waves becoming part of the experience. And then evening arrives. The most cinematic moment of all. The sun lowers slowly toward the horizon. The cliffs begin to glow. Golden tones deepen into orange, then amber, then soft red. The ocean reflects the sky, every color shifting gently. And for a brief moment, everything becomes still, balanced between day and night, light and shadow, movement and calm. The Algarve is not just beautiful, it's powerful. But within that power, there is peace. Timeless towns, where history still lives. Beyond Portugal's dramatic landscapes and powerful coastlines, there is another side of the country that reveals itself more quietly, not through grand views, but through small streets, slow moments, and everyday life. This is where Portugal feels most human. Its towns, places where history isn't preserved behind glass, but lived naturally every single day. The journey begins in Óbidos. From a distance, it looks almost unreal. A perfectly preserved medieval town, wrapped entirely in ancient stone walls. The structure has remained nearly unchanged for centuries. As you approach, the walls rise slowly before you, weathered by time, yet still strong. Walking along the top of these walls, the view opens wide. Rolling countryside stretches into the distance. Green fields, scattered trees, soft hills fading into the horizon. The wind moves gently across the landscape, carrying a quiet stillness with it. Inside the walls, everything changes. The space becomes smaller, more intimate. Narrow cobblestone streets wind through the town, curving gently between whitewashed houses. Each building feels personal. Hand-painted details, flower pots spilling over with color, wooden doors slightly worn by time. As morning light enters the streets, shadows fall softly across the stones. Shops begin to open. Cafes set out chairs. The town wakes slowly, without urgency. You hear footsteps, distant conversations, the quiet clinking of cups. Nothing feels rushed. Everything feels intentional. As the day unfolds, Óbidos reveals its rhythm. Visitors wander slowly, pausing often. Locals greet each other with familiarity. Small bakeries fill the air with the scent of fresh bread and pastries. Time here doesn't disappear. It stretches, expands, allows space to notice things that would normally go unseen. A detail in a doorway, a pattern in the tiles, a moment between people. Further south, the atmosphere shifts, but the feeling remains. Évora, a town where history doesn't just exist, it layers itself. From above, the city appears calm. White buildings with red rooftops, arranged neatly within old walls. But within those streets lies something deeper. Évora is older, heavier with time. Here, Roman history stands in plain sight. Columns from an ancient temple rise into the sky, their presence quiet, yet undeniable. They've stood here for nearly 2,000 years. And around them, life continues. People walk past without stopping. Children play nearby. Conversations unfold in the shadows of history. This is what makes Évora different. The past is not separate. It's part of the present. As you move through the town, the layers become more visible. Narrow alleys open into wide squares. Church bells echo softly through the air. Stone buildings carry the marks of centuries. And then, there are the details. Azulejo tiles, everywhere, covering walls, houses, churches. Blue and white patterns, sometimes intricate, sometimes simple. Each tile tells a story. Scenes of daily life. Moments of faith. Fragments of history preserved in ceramic. They reflect sunlight during the day and glow softly in the evening light. Walking past them feels like moving through a living gallery. As afternoon turns to evening, both towns begin to change. The light softens. Shadows grow longer. The pace slows even further. In Óbidos, golden light washes over the white buildings, giving everything a warm, almost dreamlike tone. In Évora, the stone walls absorb the fading sunlight, holding onto its warmth just a little longer. Cafes begin to fill, not with noise, but with presence. People sit together, talking, laughing, sharing meals. Time stretches again. Dinner is not quick. It's something to experience. Plates arrive slowly. Conversations deepen. Moments linger. You begin to notice something subtle. There is no pressure to move on, no urgency to finish, just space to be. As night falls, the towns become even quieter. Streetlights glow softly against stone walls. Footsteps echo gently through narrow streets. Windows light up one by one. Inside, life continues. Outside, everything feels still. In Óbidos, the walls stand silent under the night sky. In Évora, the ancient columns remain, unchanged, watching over the city as they always have. There's a calm here that feels rare, a sense that time is not something being lost, but something being lived fully. And this is where Portugal reveals its deepest truth, not in its grandest landscapes, not in its most famous views, but in these quiet towns, in the way people move, in the way they speak, in the way they take their time. It's a reminder that life doesn't need to be rushed to be meaningful, that beauty isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's found in the simplest moments. A walk through a narrow street, a conversation over coffee, a quiet evening under soft light. And in those moments, Portugal feels timeless, not because it hasn't changed, but because it has held on to what matters. Portugal is not a country that reveals itself all at once. It doesn't overwhelm you with a single moment, or define itself with one place. Instead, it unfolds, slowly, quietly, layer by layer. In the misty hills of Sintra, you find imagination brought to life. In the golden terraces of the Douro Valley, you feel the patience of generations. In the quiet streets of Coimbra, you hear the echo of memory and emotion. Along the wild Algarve coast, you witness the raw power of nature. And in its timeless towns, you experience a way of life that still values presence over speed. Each place feels different, yet somehow they all connect. Through rhythm, through history, through a shared sense of stillness that is becoming rare in today's world. Portugal doesn't ask you to rush. It doesn't demand your attention. It invites you to slow down, to look closer, to notice the details most people pass by. Because here, beauty is not just something you see. It's something you feel, in the light, in the silence, in the moments in between. And maybe that's what makes Portugal so unforgettable. Not just what it shows you, but how it changes the way you experience time. So now the question is, which hidden gem stayed with you the most? Was it the dreamlike forests of Sintra, the endless vineyards of the Douro, the quiet soul of Coimbra, the dramatic cliffs of the Algarve, or the timeless charm of its historic towns? Let me know in the comments below. And tell me, where should we go next? Because the world is full of places like this, waiting patiently to be discovered.